Okay, let's get right into it. We're about to go deep inside one of the most sophisticated and, frankly, brutal criminal enterprises on the planet. It's operating out of Cambodia, but its victims are everywhere. This is a story about modern-day slavery, fraud on an industrial scale, and a financial web so complex it can launder billions.
You've probably gotten a text like this. It all starts with something that seems totally harmless, right? A random message, maybe a friend request from someone you don't know. It feels like a simple mistake, a chance encounter. But trust me, it's anything but. This is the first bait on the hook. The scam has a name, and honestly, it's a pretty horrifying one: pig butchering. The name comes from the idea that scammers, or the butchers, see their victims as pigs. They spend weeks, sometimes months, building trust and a fake relationship to fatten them up. And then, once that trust is there, they move in for the financial slaughter, usually through a fake crypto investment.
So that raises a really important question. When you get a message like this, who is actually on the other end typing? The answer is so much more disturbing than you might imagine. We're not talking about some lone hacker in a dark room.
And here's the thing. The people sending these messages are very often victims themselves. This quote from Pastor Oh Chang-Soo, who's on the ground pulling people out of this nightmare, reveals the truth. People are tricked into coming to Cambodia with promises of amazing, high-paying jobs in tech. But the moment they arrive, the trap springs shut.
The sheer scale of this is hard to comprehend. The United Nations estimates that at least 100,000 people are being held against their will, right now, forced to work in these scam compounds, just in Cambodia alone. Think about that number. It's a massive human trafficking crisis that's fueling a global fraud epidemic.
And life inside these compounds is a living hell. As soon as they get there, their passports and phones are confiscated. They're immediately forced into what's called debt bondage, told they owe thousands for their travel and living expenses. From there, they're forced to run these scams, and they have to meet strict financial quotas. If they fail, they face brutal abuse, torture with things like electric batons, and they can even be sold from one compound to another like their property.
So how on earth is this possible? How can a criminal empire enslaving tens of thousands of people operate so openly on such an industrial level? The answer, as it often is, lies in the money and the infrastructure that supports it all.
At the center of it is this conglomerate called the Hui Yuan Group. Now it has two phases. On the surface, you have Hui Yuan Pay. It looks legit. You'll see their QR codes in stores and hotels all over Cambodia. But U.S. government sources allege there's a dark side: Hui Yuan Guarantee. This is like a secret, members-only Amazon for criminals running on Telegram, where they sell everything from stolen data to money laundering services.
And to operate in this world, you have to speak the language. Take the term moving bricks. It's criminal slang for money laundering. It's all about the process of taking the dirty cash stolen from a victim, getting it into the financial system, and turning it into clean, untraceable crypto. And those people who are forced to build fake relationships day in and day out, they have a name for them too: dog pushers. The term just completely strips them of their humanity, right? It reduces this intense psychological manipulation of pig butchering into a cold, mechanical task. It really shows you how methodical and chilling this whole operation is.
The amount of money flowing through this network, it's almost impossible to wrap your head around. The blockchain analytics firm Elliptic tracked it, and they found that entities linked to this Yuan group have received over $91 billion in crypto in just the last 5 years. Let that sink in. $91 billion. This isn't just a criminal gang, it's a full-blown shadow financial system.
So how do you clean that much money? Well, it's a well-oiled machine. First, the dog pusher gets the money from the victim. Then a matchmaker on the dark market connects them to a money mule. That mule takes the cash, moves it offshore, and converts it into a stablecoin like USDT. And finally, Hui Yuan's own network takes over, mixing and tumbling the crypto to completely hide where it came from, taking a nice commission for their service.
Which brings us to the biggest and most important question of all. An operation this massive, this brazen, it just can't exist in a vacuum, right? It requires protection. It needs to be able to operate without fear of being shut down. So, how do they get away with it?
Well, the evidence points to connections at the highest levels. The U.S. Treasury has actually identified one of the directors of Hui Yuan Pay as a man named Hun To. And Hun To is the cousin of Cambodia's current prime minister, Hun Manet. Policy reports have described Cambodia's entire system as a criminalized political economy where corruption is so entrenched that it allows these massive criminal networks to operate with protection from the very top.
And that leaves us with a really unsettling final thought. Even when law enforcement manages to raid a compound or shut down one of these dark marketplaces, another one seems to pop up almost instantly. When you have tens of billions of dollars on the line and protection that allegedly goes all the way to the top of a government, the fight against these scam factories becomes a giant game of whack-a-mole. And it begs the question, can a game on that scale ever truly be won?